I know. I promised the Lemuria crafting video, but hear me out. First, I got you Monday. I promise. Okay? But I was thinking things over, and I thought, there's something that I think I should kind of cover, even though a billion gajillion other WizTubers have probably already covered it by now, especially certain ones that are very, very good at covering news as it drops. Shout out Richard Unicorn Caller and many others. Like, I gave everyone shout outs in my last one, and I'm gonna keep doing that because they're fucking goats. I swear. They're literally legends. I'm the new kid on the block when it comes to this content creation stuff for Wiz, so yeah. But anyways, so I'm actually going to be talking about my take of the summer update, because this summer update is a mixed bag. Super mixed. There's some pretty good goods, but there's also some really, really major bads. And those major bads, in a lot of people's eyes, are very much outweighing the couple of goods that there are. And I'm going to look everything over as I got the notes, thanks to Richard again, because he's been providing everything. So I'm going to go over literally everything. So this might be a long video. I'll try not to take too long on each piece because there's a lot here. So first, let's talk about one of the big drops right away. Our opening contest scheduled for one fall. Let us talk about the Blighted Veil raid, the Mushu raid. So, I've seen the raid through other people. I've seen how it works, and this one's a mixed bag for me, even though I didn't do the raid, so I cannot speak for first-hand experience. Because we were planning a content creator raid on Test Realm, however, we couldn't quite get enough people. Which, hey, it happens. Life happens. Some people just don't like the raid enough to want to do it. It's fine. This raid, in some people's eyes, did not turn out the way people were hoping for. But the reason why I'll say it's a mixed thing is because, one, well, let me think about this, actually. Okay, so one, for me, the reason why it's a mixed bag, this raid, is because on Test Realm, I do know that it was running at like 10 FPS for the average person. Like, the highest FPS I could find on Test Realm was during the time Sauce was trying it, and he was getting like 20, 24, something like that. which for his setup is not great, because I know he's probably got a pretty damn good setup. Because his stream is very well optimized, so if he couldn't get a good frame rate, how the hell could anybody else? Like, I don't even know what he's got. If you're seeing the Sauce, hopefully you're doing alright. But, anyways, I got to see parts of the raid. Once I was able to get past the 10 FPS that everyone was averaging, I looked at the actual contents of the raid, such as the non-combat roles and the Vanguard, what the main fighting teams were fighting, all that stuff. When it comes to the combat, I didn't necessarily hate it, from what I could see, but there was something that I kind of wish was a little different. And it's not necessarily just the mechanics of the fights, it's more so, I kind of wish the raid's main boss was an Oni. That might be just me, though. Like, okay, we got a bunch of Onis in the raid. A lot of them, at least like 4 of them. Maybe there was more, I didn't keep count. But point is, I kind of wish that the main villain of the raid was an Oni. Whether it was one of, like, several. But either way, that's kind of how I felt, because when I think of Mushu, I don't think of what we got. I think of, like, Onis. I think of, like, those big, thick boys that you go into in, like, the buildings and stuff. Like, I think about those iconic character models. I don't think about what we got. What we got was cool. Don't get me wrong. But I just think about, like, an Oni, because that is the world's #1 op. So, in my opinion on this raid, if I had to rate it 0, like, anywhere between 0 to 5, 0 being bad, 5 being absolutely perfect, I would have to give this raid maybe a 1.5. Because, yes, there are non-combat roles. which I don't mind. That means you could bring a low-level wizard in and put them in a non-combat, as long as they know what they're doing with those things. Like if a level 30 can learn the non-combats, then they're just as useful as a max level doing it. So that part I'm not that mad at, admittedly. That does open things up for if people want to raid down the line. My biggest thing is I kind of wish we kind of got like, I guess a cooler, more unique vibe to Mushu. Like a lot of people were actually disappointed that they didn't get the Pirate 101 version of Mushu, which, even though I don't play Pirate, I did take a look at that when people mentioned it, and I thought, whoa, Pirate Mushu goes crazy, like, bruh. Like I think it looks cooler than the Wiz version. And I'm not even a pirate player. like the pirate version goes so hard. But either way, I'm glad they changed the skybox, because the original one was just not great. Not because of like its design being bad, but because it was a reuse, the original one. However, the new one, not bad. I can accept it. So I'm not gonna give it a 0 out of 5, but the best I can do is maybe a 1, because design-wise, I do know a lot of people, including my guild lead, hi Nerdy Birdie, shout out to you, does not like this raid at all. Like, she's probably more harsh on this raid than I'm being right now. Like, I will be very real with you. So, I don't know who did the raid, but I do think that some more practice could be done, so that maybe down the line you can kind of, you know, figure out what's a good way to make a raid. Because a lot of the main raiders, which I'm not one of them, so you can literally ignore my word if you want, but I know that the actual raiders weren't a big fan of it. So yeah, that's the best I can do for that part. The next thing that we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about the thing that dropped accidentally. So accidentally that it was made no longer available as of well, a while ago, because I'm recording this at the end of day 2 of the summer update, going into the beginning of day 3. And that was the Barkingham update. So Barkingham Palace is getting a big overhaul. They're getting a new side boss, which I think is still there. I'm actually going to walk my way over there while talking about this section. So let's make our way there. So while we're making our way there, so when it comes to the Barkingham update, if you guys remember what the Aquila update was, where they introduced exclusive pets, spell elements for these new spells, a new fight, all that stuff, then you will know exactly how this went, because they used the exact same system template for Barkingham that they did with Aquila. Now, if you remember Aquila, the boss for that was Sisyphus, and you had to fight him to get those spell elements. And I'm actually still needing to do Sisyphus, because even though I did get the base version of my ice spell, Neptune's Fury, which is actually a pretty solid spell, I'm not gonna lie, I actually need to go back in for the myth spell from there, Saturn's Reaping, because I want this Chromatic Fane. I want it. I need it. Not just because it's cool, but it's because my raid actually, not my raid, my guild and my guild lead actually uses a strat as an ice support that uses this. And I literally admitted to Nerdy Birdie in her face at a call the other night. And I told her, I'm trying to get this card because I'm trying to steal this spot from you. And she said, please steal it. So, I love you, Birdie. Anyways, let's go into Barkingham. Alright, now that we're in Barkingham, I'm actually gonna go in here and see if this boss is still here. It looks like he is, because the sigil's still active. Not active? Huh! They shut down the sigil, but yet it's still glowing. Huh. Fair enough. And this guy's main crafting bits, like the pets and everything like that, and the pity items, these were already gone. Now this I don't think was here. This was still left, but like the pets and the pity gear, you couldn't craft anyway. But yeah, if you do want to see what the Pupbelly cosmetic looks like, there's the hat. You still see your face. Here is the robe, which is a whole bodysuit, basically, just about, almost. You look kind of goofy in that, actually. I wish this was dyeable, by the way, because if it was dyeable, then at least people could change the trim color to like their school if they wanted to. And then here's the boots. which that pretty much checks out. Makes sense. Here is the stove stick. Interesting. But anyway, so this update was not supposed to drop whatsoever. And with this update, what came that technically was not supposed to. So the side boss fight was not supposed to come in. As you can see, I can't even use the sigil, which means the side quest wasn't supposed to be able to be done. To then get this extremely powerful theme, I will be talking about this as its own video at some point, probably. So I'm just gonna leave this in my book here, and probably even give it to my death, because I'm probably gonna level my death next. I won't lie. Plus, I kept this in case this got nerfed or just changed. But it looks like I don't have to keep this. And I did grab this ring too. Anyways, so talking about Barkingham. Sorry for getting so detoury. But yeah, so this sigil was not supposed to drop because it's now disabled. The Spellement farms were also not there as is, so they were obviously easy to disable because they were never enabled in the first place, which is why this dungeon was not dropped. Matter of fact, I'll show you real quick. I have 20 rat stabbers out of my 35. There it is. I have these because when the side boss here dropped early, me and Birdie, we actually farmed our badges for these first two dungeons here for the side boss and the state wing. And when I was doing the state wing, slightly off topic again, even though the state wing doesn't drop spell elements at all. It didn't even before everything was disabled. But I will say the state wing, when I made my ectoplasm reagent video, this place ended up dropping me way fucking more, by the way, so if you saw my ectoplasm video, please disregard it, because now that I know that this place drops a shit ton of it, I need to update that video, and I will show it off that this place, the State Wing in Barkingham, is the place to go for ectoplasm. So keep that in mind. But yeah, because of the fact that this was here, and the State Wing had some of its drops, people were able to get access to the Pupbelly pets early, including Nerdy Birdie. She has the Death and Storm ones, if I recall. I don't think she got any of the others, but she would have to verify for me. But it was her that I got those two badges with, from Billy and from this guy. So that's how the Pupbellies are available, because of the fact that they were on the loot tables early, despite not being supposed to, or even being able to be accessible. On top of that, the Barkingham Chronicles pack, which is basically the same thing as the Aquila one, except it's the Barkingham update instead. Those puppies were in the pack, and the pack was out. It's not out now. I'll show you in the crown shop. It's not there anymore. But there is, because as you can see, the latest pack is the Unicorn Horde pack, which, if you like unicorns, by the way, if you like your pretty rainbows and stuff, and there you go. You can get a unicorn. You can get several different types of unicorns, and even outfits. So if these cutesy things are your thing, go get them, because it'll be available probably for the entirety of June. But back to Barkingham. In the Chronicles pack, the puppies were available, and those puppies were required, as well as the Pupbellies, to then hatch them together to turn them into the very overpowered Pupbellies, because they have a trap and a school attenuate and a hazard spell to that school, of the relevant school of that Pupbelly. So the ice one got the ice versions of these. The storm one got the storm version of these. But that hazard is so powerful, and it's allowed in advanced combat, by the way. It is not banned. Because of that, what that means is you can use this in challenge mode. You can use this in PvP. You can use them in raids. And because of that trap alone, Birdie's out here having to potentially rewrite quite a few strats around this card, including the use of the balance version, because anybody can use the balance version for any hitter. And then if you happen to get a school-specific one like Ice or Storm or something, you can use that version to help that particular school of hitter. So that's where I think the balance Pupbelly is going to end up being meta, as well as if you have a Pupbelly of the school of your designated hitter. So if your hitter for a raid is ice, like in the Cabal that our dragons do, really the meta pet combo is going to be the balance and ice. It's going to be a 2 Pupbelly combo. Because it's going to be balanced Pupbelly, and it's going to be whatever the school of the hitter is at the time. It depends on what you're doing, what the relevant content is, and who the best hitter for it is. But the balanced one's going to be number 1 because you could pair that with any of them. Because it's a universal, it's not a balance specific trap. So keep that in mind. That's how people got a hold of this. I do wish that this update didn't drop early, only because the Spellement drop rate update that they gave to Aquila wasn't applied to Barkingham when that dropped early. And I'm assuming that's part of why they pulled it back, is to do that and then fix other things. Honestly, if they did buff the hell out of the Aquila Spellement drop rates, I hope they do the same drop rates for Barkingham, because these Barkingham spells, like, they're going to be so essential for some people. Not everybody, because there's some that aren't that good, but, like, this Rat Stabber for ice is huge. Because it's basically just small hit, get rid of a weakness, put a trap. It is ice specific, so, like, a storm can't use this, for example. However, the minion from the path B is going to be cracked. Like, that minion's going to be huge. So big, in fact, that this is the path I'm going to do first. Because I can get away with not having a strat right away. But if I'm not sure if I can max the spell, I'll at least try and get enough to get tier 2 of both. Because you can do that. So that's pretty much it for the Barkingham section. Again, this is going to be a long video. I am sorry. But I promise I'll make it worth your time. Let's talk about the next topic, shall we? While we are on the topic of Martybone stuff, some of the minion spells, well, not even the minion spells, because we're going to talk about the minion rework. Some of the minions are Martybone themed, and we're actually going to talk about these spells, because they are Martybone themed, such as Jackal and Hound here. Because if you look at this card, for example, which is for fire, Path A is a decent hit, and you push a trap. Actually, for 2 pips, 190 damage at max is not bad for a 2 pip. But you push a trap onto your opponent, so that's pretty good. And then Path B is also a decent hit, and you sap an enemy minion. So you can actually, yeah. And I know Genevieve tested the spell. There's potential for it, but it's such a niche card, I think. I feel like that's part of why I thought it was niche. But otherwise, it won't be a huge thing. Either way, the mini rework, it's actually like a mixed bag. Oh, I almost forgot to give the Barkingham update a score. Because it wasn't supposed to drop early, I'm going to give that a 2 out of 5. It probably would have been like a 3 out of 5 had it went through properly. But anyways, as for the minion update, I'm personally going to give the minion update about a 2.5 or even a 3 out of 5. And the reason why is because there's some minions that are insane and are actually extremely useful. The other 2 points that I'm taking away are pretty much for the Avalon minions. Because, yes, they got changed. However, I was saying that the 5 pip hit is not enough. Their stats are fine, and their utility cards are fine. But I feel like they should have given them like an 8 or even a 9 pip hit. Just one. Like because they made it to where now it's the utility cards and then 1 5 pip hit. 6 pips for some. But if it was up to me, I would have changed that hit to be like an 8 or a 9 pip. And have it, you know, set up the exact same way. You use the utilities first, and then at the final turn, use the hit and then leave. Because, yeah, the stats are good. But these are Avalon minions. Avalon Spellements are rank 9. So that's like Woolly Mammoth for ice. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the rank 9s. I don't think I got the rank 9 Spellements. Oh, no, I do. So, like, for fire, that would be Rain of Fire. For ice, that would be Woolly Mammoth. Where is it? Right here. For storm, that would be Sirens. For myth, that would be Basilisk. Yeah, there it is. For life, that would be... What is your 9-pip life? Oh, gnomes. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, where'd I go? You know what? Let me talk to this guy real quick. He's looking at me wrong.
Yeah.
Joe! Sorry about that, y'all. I was just going over shit and I actually walked into a door. That is my fault. But yeah, you get the point. I kind of wish that these guys got like 8-pip hits or 9-pip hits. Only because those hits, I feel like scale better with those stats, making those minions actually worth using. Because like the Avalon minions, they cost 5 pips to even bring out. Like I have Freddo, for example. Where's Freddo? Here he is. Yeah, he costs 5 pips to summon. So if you get your pip, so if you summon him turn 1, you're spending your starting pips on getting this guy if you happen to pull him first hand. So it's just like, it's kind of expensive for them to not use a really good hit. I mean, some 5 pips are pretty good. Like Phoenix is not bad. Blighthound is actually pretty alright, but when it comes to like these 5-pip hits, it's only the standard path A version of them. It's not like a path C or anything. So like my Blighthound, I use like path C. Where's my Blighthound? There it is. Let me actually go to the spell in this list here. I'm blind, don't mind me. Here we go. Yeah, you see, so like Freddo would use path A, and I think it's the minimum version. I think it's the tier 1, whereas I have tier 3 of path C. So my Blighthound would do way more damage than his. Why? Because I have the path C, which means that I know the Gambit weaknesses to make it an extra 140 per weakness that gets gambited. So because it's the standard versions of these spells, I think they could have at least tuned it a bit more. Be like rank 8, rank 9. Even if you kept it path A, you don't even have to give you the utility versions. That's just my take. Maybe I'm choosing violence on this, but I'll die on this hill. I am sorry. I just think that the 5 pips hits are just too small. I think they could have went bigger. Alright, so the next section of this video is we're going to actually choose violence right now, and we're going to go with what could have been the main event segment of this video, but I decided to just talk about it now. And you see where I'm at. I'm at the Pet Pavilion, and that already tells you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the kiosk. And when it comes to the kiosk, exclusive pets were removed. And when it comes to that, that has a lot of people very, very mad. And the reason why is because people actually used these exclusive pets to actually get the talents and even some of the stats. Because if I recall, not only did people use the exclusive to get pet talents, because those were just the obvious choices of pets to do them on, but on top of that, I believe exclusive pets also have higher base stats, such as like the strength, agility, all that stuff. I think, if I remember correctly, I think exclusives do have higher stats. Like, let me take a look at this, for example. Does anything have about that much? I don't even know if magic weaving pets count as exclusive. Somebody would have to tell me. If there's a pet hatcher out there who works with pets a lot, please educate me. Because I know just enough to make a pet. I don't know the ins and outs of like what's considered exclusive, what's considered not. Do weaving pets count as exclusive? I don't think so. I do have a body, I believe, somewhere. Let me see. Yep, here we go. Here, I have the Sandy Skeletorian right here. No kiosk, exclusive. Mr. Rex is your name. So I'm going to look at some babies of mine. Okay, this one's averaging about 210, and then I could jump up. This one's low, everything's less than 200. This one's got high strength and agility, everything else is kind of low. No, it doesn't seem any different that wise. Like some of the numbers are kind of weird, so I guess not really. All right. But no, these exclusive bodies are what people would put a lot of the best talents on right away, because of the incentives that a lot of these exclusive pets have very powerful cards, making them worth training. For example, my Rude Goblin, his cards are horrible. I don't even use them, but I did it because of my set bonus. Otherwise, I'd be using like this Rain Core, to get these utility cards, for example. But either way, people are mad about that, and I would be too, because with that gives us as players less options of finding our talents. Now, before we move on to a different section, now that you guys know that that I can't gift as anything higher than a 1 out of 5, there is one thing to do with the kiosk that is a win. And that's if you go to browse and you go to search for pet talents, whether it's in person or at all. So normally you can only choose 2 talents over on the right side. So I'm just gonna choose a random assortment of talents. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. And it looks like now I can choose 5. So you can basically choose the 5 talents on a mega pet. So that means if I wanted to search for anything, I could actually do it. So I'm actually going to search all the words real quick. I'm going to search for ice, life, balance, myth, and I guess death? And then hit search all. You can find the exact pet that you want, talent-wise. Obviously, the bodies might not quite match up, but you can actually really narrow it down. Like, insanely so. So yeah, there might not be as many body options, but you can actually get your exact talents now, going all the way to Mega. Like this Arcane Golem, I would actually... Hold on, I actually could use that. An item card, Old Shatter. Yo! I might have to consider that pet. Hang on. I know it's raid banned, but that might be okay for like Omen. You know what? I'll think about it. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, the best I can give the pet kiosk update is like a 1 out of 5. This is probably going to be the #1 worst part of the update, because it's such an L for pet makers. Like, oh my god, it's bad. But let's just move on to the next thing before I start pissing other people off. Alright, so the next note I wrote down is called quality of life. And there's like little bits of quality of life, such as what they did in the kiosk by adding the ability to search more talents and stuff like that. But the main one that I'm going to talk about is, it's not the hotkey thing, because hotkeys are actually useful. I don't use them, but somebody will. I'm going to talk about the new idle mode, which if you go into your options here by going to your gear icon here, or you can hit escape on your keyboard to just get there right away, you'll see there's a new idle button. And if you do that, it's gonna take you off your mount if you're equipped with one, and it's gonna have you do an animation. Now, it's supposed to be the defeated animation, where you do that little head spin after you lose, like when you go down to 0 health. It's supposed to do that, but mine is glitched. So right now, I just have a dance. So I've been telling people, hey, if you see me doing this dance, I'm AFK. I've been having to do that because I do not have what's supposed to be the correct animation. So that's a bit of a bug. I'm going to give this part of the update a 3.5 out of 5, maybe a 4. Because I do genuinely like idle mode. Because now I don't have to worry about getting disconnected. I could just press an actual in-game button officially and make myself immune to inactivity. However, the reason why I cannot give it a 5 out of 5 is because they killed spinning. I had mentioned in video comments before how even though they took away control movement to do the spin, and I believe they also took away shift movement on Test Realm, but on Test Realm alt movement worked, but now it doesn't. Oh no, my music's glitching. My music's glitching. Help. There we go. Yeah, so my music was just glitching there. It sounded really, really wonky. Yeah. But anyways, they killed spinning. So now the hotkeys that we used to use to spin, whether it's the alt, the shift, or control, they all died. Like literally the only way that you can spin now is if you hold that movement key, whether it's A or D, and you have something holding it down. Which I do not recommend, by the way. I've been telling people, you're going to break your damn keys that way if you do it frequently and for too long. Like, if you do it for literally hours a day, every day, you're going to break those keys. because you're like getting excessive usage of that key. So I honestly recommend using the idle button now because it's safer for your keyboard. You don't have to replace keys or spend money to get a new keyboard if you don't know how to replace keys. Because yes, there is a way to go inside and fix those keys. There are ways to do it. I just don't know how to do it myself. But there are ways to repair keys and things. You just gotta be real tech savvy. So if you're tech savvy, fuck it, go for it. Break your keyboard and then have to fix it. If you're not tech savvy, please don't try that method of spinning. Just don't. But yeah, otherwise, I'll give this update like a 3.5 out of 5. I know I said 4, but now that I think about it, I might bring it down a bit because I do miss spinning. Even though it wasn't technically supposed to be in the game, I do kind of miss it. Next, we're going to talk about endorsements. And endorsements is a new feature. And you're probably wondering, how do you see your endorsements of like if people like you? So first, you got to go to the social tab up here, which is just below your friends list. And then when you open this, you're going to see all these tabs up here, such as friendly players, recent wizards, my group. There's a new one here that has a thumbs up. It says show my endorsements. And with this is where you can actually collect endorsements from people for whenever you do stuff together. Whether it's just sigils, team up. I thought this was supposed to be team up only, but it turns out if you just go on a sigil with another player at all, you can actually get or give endorsements. But you can only give or get so many in a day. So keep that in mind. So in my case, I have a friendly, 2 savvy, and a helpful. I don't know who gave me the helpful, but I do know that Nerdy Birdie gave me the other ones because we endorsed each other when we were doing our farming. Even though like we're besties, we're guildies, all that stuff, we still took advantage of giving each other endorsements. I did notice, by the way, that there's like a meter here, and I don't know what this does if you fill it. I guess we'll find out over time. Maybe Richard can find out for us, or Genevieve. That like those two are the ones that are going out of their way for people a lot. So if any WizTuber's gonna fill their bar first, it's probably gonna be either Richard or Genevieve. It's really a 2-horse race, and it's those two. I'm not a part of it. If I get endorsements, cool. But I won't be pushing because I have other things I need, such as those Pupbellies, especially the ice one, and maybe the balance one too. But either way, let's move on because endorsements, there's not much to talk about, and I will say this. The short version of that description, if you've ever played Overwatch or Marvel Rivals, where you can give a thumbs up after the match, that's basically what endorsements are. So, there you go. Easy, straightforward, all that stuff. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about guild open houses. And this is a feature I've not tested yet. You can basically visit other guilds. There's a good and a bad about this. So we're going to go to this guy because this is where you do it. In this case, we're going to go to the Plucky Purple Pack because I'm actually friends with people in this guild. But yeah, you'll see whichever guilds open up their open house. So now we're going to be here at their thing here, and you can actually visit their guild house, see what it looks like. This is a good thing. It's actually really cool to see other people's stuff. Also good news, you can also collect your daily Azoth, even as a visitor. So if you didn't get it from your guild house, you can get it from somebody else's. However, I think it's still once a day. Yup, that was one of the things that people didn't like. Guild visitors cannot use crafters. They also cannot raid either with the guild. So let's say we were to come over here to Raid Island, and let's say they were setting up a raid. I, as a visitor, not only do I need Keymaster permission to open the gate, but because I'm not in the guild, I cannot get that permission. And on top of that, even if somebody else opened the door, I cannot do it. As for Gwen over here, you cannot craft your guild stuff at the crafter when you're a visitor. So keep that in mind. So you can visit the house and collect the daily items, but you cannot use crafters, and you cannot raid. You cannot participate in guild activities. Can you use their bank at least? Yes, you can. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, otherwise, all you could do is just visit these like a house. You cannot interact with guild activities. If you're okay with that, then it's not that bad. But if you want to be able to raid with other guilds, right now you cannot. So because of that, some people consider it a wasted feature. Hopefully they do add it down the road. But until then, I'm going to give the guild visitor feature a 3 out of 5. Because it's missing some essential features that take 2 points away from them just off of that. So when it comes to visiting guilds, you can do it, but you're limited in what you can do. And also, it depends on the guild you're visiting. So there you go. We're going to go back to the comments now. Welcome to the housing spot. When it comes to this place here, there either has been or will be a major housing update. Because if I go into here, I don't think I'm going to see anything different yet. We'll find out. I don't see anything different right now. Yeah, I don't. But there's supposed to be a Housing Hall of Fame that's supposed to drop soon. And because of that, that means that houses that get put into a Hall of Fame can be permanently glorified. So that's going to be pretty solid for the housing people. As a matter of fact, I do know a major housing person. A couple, actually. One of them is an upcoming content creator as well, who like makes fun posts on like Instagram and stuff. And she's a friend of mine. Her name is Jasmine Shadowwalker. A very cool person. Hi Jasmine. Hope you're watching. If so, how you doing, girly pie? But yeah, she's one of the big housing people that I know and is really damn good at this stuff. So the minute that we're able to vote for Hall of Fame stuff, everyone vote for Jasmine. She's good people. What is this? Alright, so the reason why we're in Selenopolis for this next section is because we are going to talk about the small change that they decided to do with the magic weaving system. So I just need to double check to make sure I'm in a certain school. Am I in this one right now? Yeah, I am. So I'm going to use this as an example here. Since I'm currently weaved in the storm for the blade, which I do death for the same reason, and for my solos. But anyways, I'm going to go into here and go to the magic weaving tome here. So you see these homework assignments, the labors. You see that for rank 1 I did 3 of them. That is because in the old original version of the weaving update, I had to do 3 of the 5 of the rank. Be able to go to like the next rank. Or at least actually get to the rank. So like if I want to get to rank 2, I gotta do a few of these. However, they changed it to where now instead of 3 assignments or labors per rank, you only have to do 2. And that sounds like a small thing, but trust me, brother, that can save so much time. Because if I go back in here for rank 2, let's say I get to the quest where I have to do the labors, I could choose to do help people, I could choose to fight I could choose to fish, I could choose to fight a boss 7 times, I could choose to fight mobs, or I could try and do kiosk. So now with this, if I want to choose my 2, I can actually just do the boss and the mobs. I don't have to pick help people, fishing, or kiosk. I'm not forced into any of those 3 anymore. So that's a huge win. However, I think they could have went further with this update. Not necessarily them having to add spells right now. I think they're going to do that yearly. But hear me out when I say this. I think every single weaving school should get a blade, aura, and a trap. I think every combo should get one. Why? Because that's what people are going to end up using weaving for anyway. Like in this case, you could use an aura and a blade, but you cannot get a trap if you're ice going into life. Let's go to Charlie over here. Charlie does not even give a blade or an aura. He only gives a trap. So that's where weaving in a fire is not necessarily worth it unless you want this trap, which you have to be level 90 when you're scaled down. So like Aquila, Azteca, and below, you can use this when you're level scaling. But if you're like, but if you're doing like challenge mode, which auto scales you down, if you're doing content that is, actually wait, Well, that says level 90, right? So I'm confused. My brain isn't working right now. But point is, I think that what they could do down the line is give every single weave combination a blade, a trap, and an aura. Because that would incentivize people to actually look into the other options for different reasons. God! Alright, that time we recovered. I don't know what the hell's going on. But either way, that's my take on the weaving system. I think they can add more. That's just me though. So now we are going to cover the new Spellement updates for the fact that higher level spells now have five tiers. And I actually get to stay in Selenopolis because Selenopolis was also affected. I think. I know the Darkmoor stuff was, because there's 5 tiers now for like my Hierophant spell. There used to be just the 3, which is why I thought I was done. Then they added 2 more. So, angy. Very angy. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I get why they did it, just to make sure that they gave more stuff 5 tiers. But this also kind of inflated the shit out of the grind that we have to do. So, yeah, we're getting more damage on our spells. But otherwise, the grind is going to be such a pain in the dick just to get another 45 damage. I know that sounds like a lot. And if you know how to buff up enough, it can be. But otherwise, it just inflates the hell out of the grind. So, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. Because I think that if they were going to give us 5 tiers for those spells, they should have just did it at the start, I'll be honest. Because that way we could have at least said, okay, here's how many spells we need to get to tier 5. And just went with it. We shouldn't have had to wait half a year. Think that we were done. Potentially trash the Spellements, think we didn't need them anymore. Just for them to add that later. Good news is I dodged that situation. Bad news is now I have to sit here and think about all that. So honestly, if they would have given us these tiers at the start, I wouldn't be so upset. I would not be so annoyed. So I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5 because that annoys the shit out of me. Like, huge time. Of course, we already talked about spinning. Spinning's dead, so I covered that earlier. So now I'm going to move on to the next section, which is about the language switching. So if you go into your options here, I believe it's here. Yes. If I go into a certain tab, it's not video, right? No. Is it gameplay? Not gameplay 1. Ooh, no. No. There it is. Language. So now, if I wanted to, I could switch this to English, French, Dutch, Spanish, and that's it. I'm going to keep it on English, though, because I've heard that there's bugs with this. I'm going to call this a 3 out of 5. Because yes, it's a great thing. Objectively, it's good. However, they need to fix the bugs, and I think that over time they should keep expanding. If they keep expanding on this, they could turn my 3 out of 5 into a 5 out of 5. Give us, you know what? Give us Japanese, and I'll give you a whole point just off Japanese alone. Can you do that? Please? I would love to make a Japanese wizard. It would be so cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that section. Is there anything else? Oh, I forgot to mention about the pet system. So before you could lend up to 4 times a day. Now it's 5. Big W, objective win. I know it's 1 more, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 4 felt weird, 5 feels right. Fine with me. Nothing else to say. 5 out of 5 on that piece. And now we're going to touch on the next section. We're almost done, guys. We only got 2 more things to talk about left. And I'm just going to make my way to this place immediately, and it's in the same place as Wizard City for both. Alright, as for the final section of this video, we're going to talk about the arena. Oh, hey, I have a sister, apparently. Brianna Iceblood. Hello. I see a relative. Twin! Anyways, so... We're going to talk about the arena because this has both of the final sections. 1. The arena for PvP got completely destroyed by a massive bug. And that bug is after about 3 turns, it decides, oh, right, because right now there's a time, because normally there's a time limit in PvP that like ticks down during card casting and shit like that, and however that whole system works. I'd have to get Bobcat to give me his take. Maybe one of these days I'll start like doing interviews, just like Taz does. Shout out Taz, how you doing? Because Taz does a whole hot seat. Maybe I'll do something like that myself someday. And I might have to hit up Bobcat and be like, hey, so what do you think about this bug? Because right now it seems like after 3 turns, the fight just ends automatically, and Diego's favor just completely just sways one way, in a broken way, to where it's like, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't like kind of move back and forth based on spells anymore. It literally just sways all the way to one edge, and then depending on what happens, it sways all the way to the other edge right away. And it seems like it's, like right now it's set up to where it's not a 7-minute time limit or whatever the time limit is. It's like a 3-turn limit. It's weird. And it sucks because even though I don't PvP, it sucks for the PvP players. It sucks for the PvP content creators. How you doing, Bobcat? And I know there's a few others. Even though there are quite a few content creators that did leave the PvP scene. And some of them are even on break from the game. So that's a big L for the PvP stuff. That's probably my other 0 out of 5 because you can't even PvP right now at all. It's literally 3 turns and you win or lose based on how Diego's favor decides to bug. So right now, ranked PvP is it's unplayable right now. So that's a big L for the PvP scene. As for the final section, this one's a small one. Why did I go to this section? This is not active right now. There it is. Beastmoon. Beastmoon is apparently still broken. It's been broken for a long time. It's had issues for months. Longer than I've been active as a WizTuber. And as of now, we don't know when or if it will get fixed anytime soon. Which is unfortunate because Beastmoon is something that a lot of people enjoy. Including other WizTubers. So, yeah. It's not really my thing. Like, I'll do it with certain friends, but, like, it's not really my thing. I'm just not really the target audience for Beastmoon. So, like, I can't sit there and say, oh, it's a bad mode. I'm just not the target audience. But with it being bugged, that's where I can say it might be bad because of the bugs. Not because of how the mode is supposed to work. So hopefully that gets cleared up at some point. Although it's starting to feel like console update waiting times. Although console just got updates, so W. And I think that's everything. Yeah, that's all my notes. So that covers the entire summer update. As I sit here at the end of the video in one of the last places you would ever expect to see me, because I am a PvE player, currently a standard PvE player, soon to be advanced combat PvE player, based on how lucky I can get with Spellement and getting spells and all that shit. So here I am, probably in the one and only time you'll see me in a PvP arena, unless I have to cover it for some reason. And that is going to do it. So, thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the comment, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs for the first time in our lives over my 13 years of doing content creation in general on YouTube. With several of them being in all sorts of different niches. But yeah, if we can get to 1,000, it'll be the first time it ever happened. So yeah, hit that sub button. That's the most important button of them all. I will see you in the next video. Because my name is Tyr, and our end of days has arrived. Have a good night.